Whoever has the money has the power. So The Lookout tells the story of an ex-athlete who tragically lives with brain damage, who is then targeted by a group of bank robbers to be their unwilling accomplice. What's up, everybody, and welcome to a random movie review of a hidden gem that I'm excited to talk about. So The Lookout is a movie that I actually found back when I was in college, back in either 2008, 2009. Came across it randomly because I remember seeing trailer clips for it, watched it, and this has been a favorite of mine ever since. It's been a movie that, like a lot of my other favorite movies, is like this hidden gem that very few people I talk about it with know what I'm talking about, even remember the movie, and certainly have not seen it. So these are my favorite types of movie reviews to do. Movies that I know most of you guys have not seen that I'm gonna tell you right now you need to check out. Before I get into all the reasons why you need to check out The Lookout now, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Magic Spoon. Just give me a minute. For those of us that love to eat cereal in the morning, have you ever sat around and just mourned how the taste of your childhood has left you behind and not aged with you, and now you're expected to eat things like bran and wheat germ, and no! We want the good stuff. Well, the good stuff is right here. Magic Spoon makes all of the delicious flavors that you remember from your childhood, like cocoa, frosted, fruity, peanut butter, blueberry, all of that awesome stuff, but makes it in a sensible way for adults. Each individual box of Magic Spoon has more protein than an entire carton of eggs and less net carbs than an entire fruit smoothie. And it's way more fun to eat than both of those. Magic Spoon uses premium ingredients to give you a product where every single individual serving has 13 to 14 grams of protein, 4 net carbs, and 0 grams of sugar, compared to the other guys where it's about 12 grams of sugar, 30 grams at least of net carbs, and less than 2 grams of protein. So if you are interested in checking out Magic Spoon and seeing what they are all about, you can actually get a variety pack of all of their best flavors, including cocoa, frosted, fruity, and peanut butter. And if you use the link down below and use my exclusive discount code, which is CLeach, all caps, you're gonna save $5 off of that order, or you can just go to magicspoon.com/CLeach in all caps and get the same exact offer, because this is a cereal that eats well for adults but tastes like childhood, and it also, here we go, is high protein, keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, wheat free, naturally flavored, totally delicious cereal that tastes exactly like your childhood. Magic Spoon, it's what's for dinner, or I guess breakfast. It's what's for breakfast. And for those of you that might be a little bit skeptical, Magic Spoon backs their product with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if for whatever reason you pick up this variety pack and you're not completely satisfied with it, just contact them. They will give you a full refund, no questions asked. So you have absolutely nothing to lose and so much deliciousness to potentially gain. So check out that link down below and use my discount code to save yourself $5 off of that variety pack. And thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this video. Now, as far as the positives with The Lookout, I love the story of this movie. This is one of those movies that really dives into characters, and sometimes those give you the best stories. It starts off with Joseph Gordon Levitt back whenever he was a student athlete. He was a star hockey athlete, and he's with his girlfriend, his 2 friends. Tragically, they get into a car accident. You flash forward, and now he lives with this brain disorder to where he nods off in the middle of things, he forgets what to call things, he can't really sequence events very well. It takes a similar approach to Memento with really diving into real life effects of this brain disorder, but it quickly gets into this kind of thriller aspect to where people that swear they know him and they knew him back in the past come up and try to befriend him and try to kind of rekindle these old friendships. And quickly you find out that they're actually trying to rob the bank that he works at and just using him. And now he's in this situation to where even a fully functioning person would have a very difficult time getting out alive, and he has to figure out how he's going to stop them, save his friends and family, and get himself out scot-free while not being able to fully process what is going on.
What's this?
Yes, this is a project I've been working on.
Why are you taking pictures of a bunch of banks?
Because I'm gonna rob one of them.
What is this?
And it just brings an interesting aspect to a story like this. I mean, we've seen heist movies, we've seen bank robbery movies, dime a dozen, but this one just takes a very interesting approach to where it's not that we have an unreliable narrator with our story, it's that our narrator is unreliable within his own story because he doesn't know what's left and right. And backing up how great that story is the central performance by Joseph Gordon Levitt. This is my favorite role of his, and he's been in a lot of great things, but when I think of Joseph Gordon Levitt, I usually think of this role, I think of this movie. I just think that it's one of his more interesting projects that he's ever done, and inevitably one of his less talked about projects. I mean, when you've been in Batman, when you've been in 500 Days of Summer, quiet little indie pictures like this tend to go under the radar. Well, not anymore. Also think pretty much all of the other, with the exception of one, side characters and their performances are all great too. I love Jeff Daniels in this movie. He plays his roommate who's a blind man, and their relationship, their back and forth, is kind of the heart of the movie to me. Matthew Goode is kind of your main antagonist, the one that's kind of seducing Joseph Gordon Levitt's character in to do this bank robbery, and he's great because he's got that charm, he's got that allure to where you kind of would want to hang out with this guy, but whenever it turns on a dime and he has to be that ruthless mastermind of this whole bank heist, he does well with that side of the performance too, and then you start to hate him. So very well-rounded performance from him.
Go in there, do your job, and shut your mouth.
And overall, the movie's just directed very well. I keep comparing it to Memento just because it's a similar style as far as diving into a memory disorder, but it couldn't be more of a different film. They really do it their own way of diving into how his life is affected by this and how the story is going to be affected by this, to the point where not only does the character Chris not really know who to trust, can he rely on people that are constantly there in his life that maybe he's a little suspicious of whether or not they have his best interest at heart, or is he going to trust these new people that have certainly embraced him much more than everybody that knew him before his disorder, but could have a bit of a nefarious plot? And you as a viewer don't quite know either, because there's blackouts and there's certain scenes where you just don't know. You don't know what character is going to have his best interest and what character he's eventually going to put his allegiance into. And there's this palpable tension throughout the movie as that slowly starts to boil up to the actual heist. And the director of this movie, Scott Frank, just does a great job. He hasn't done a whole lot. The only other film that he's directed that I looked at was A Walk Among the Tombstones with Liam Neeson, which I thought was pretty damn good. And I have not seen the show, but he's getting quite a bit of buzz right now because he's a co-creator of the show A Queen's Gambit, which was pretty big this year, earlier this year, and last year on Netflix. So I'd like to see more from this guy. If he can do so well with a story like this, they could very easily crumble in the director's chair. I want to see what else he can do because he did a damn good job with The Lookout. And finally, I really love the score of this movie. Now, this is not going to win any awards. This is not going to be, people aren't going to walk away and say this is one of the greatest scores of all time. It's not like that. But for some reason, just the musical cues that this movie has always stick in my head. I can hear a couple of notes of it and instantly think of The Lookout, instantly want to watch it. There's certain scenes in here where the action or the tension has to get ramped up, and the music does a great job of that. There's a scene specifically after you watch it, you'll know what I'm saying, where he looks at his notebook and he comes up with this plan on how to make everything right, and the musical cues that go behind it kind of get you pumped. You're like, yeah, get him, Chris. I love the score of this movie. Now, moving on to the negatives, I honestly only have one, and that's Isla Fisher. And I think that she's a good actress in comedies. I thought she was great in Wedding Crashers. She's pretty good in the Now You See Me movie. I never saw the second one, but I think that she's a capable actress, but she is far and away the weakest link of this film. I mean, her character as it stands is kind of an oddball, the way that she's written. I mean, she's literally named Lovely Lemons, which just, it sounds like a joke, but it's really not. And her performance just doesn't really land. There's a scene specifically where she's talking with Jeff Daniels, and Jeff Daniels is talking about how he lost his vision, and he's trying to kind of figure out who this chick is and figure out what her motivations for hanging out with Joseph Gordon Levitt is. And Jeff Daniels is on point in this scene, and she is just far off of the mark. Like, the way that she delivers her lines, it doesn't feel natural. She doesn't feel like a real person. And to me, every single time that she's on screen, with the exception of a couple interactions she has with Joseph Gordon Levitt, she really feels like she's just way out of her league with the acting quality that we have in this movie. But overall, guys, I absolutely love this movie. This is one of my favorite thrillers. It's certainly a hidden gem, and hopefully after this review, it'll be a little bit less hidden for those of you. So if you are familiar with this movie, didn't give it a shot back when it came out, or if I'm bringing some brand new information to you, please check out The Lookout and you will not be disappointed. So if you're a fan of heist thrillers, if you're a fan of movies like Memento that dive into mental illness, or if you're just a Joseph Gordon Levitt fan, The Lookout has everything that you would want in a small indie thriller. So check it out right now and add it to your collection. Go out and buy it. So what do you guys think of The Lookout? Are you a fan of this movie? Am I telling you about it for the first time? Come back, let me know what your thoughts are after you have checked it out, or has this always been one of your favorites like me and you're like, hey, somebody's finally talking about this awesome movie. Let me know down below. Please like and share this video. Be sure to check out Magic Spoons. Get that link down below. Save yourself $5. Use that code CLEACH. Hit the subscribe button so you can check out further videos to come on this channel. We're going to be talking about Dexter again here very soon. Season 4 review coming up sometime this weekend. Thank you for watching as always, and remember, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be.